Good evening, everybody. Happy summer. Happy back to school. We know that lots of people are shuffling their kids to school. Teachers are getting back into the groove. Parents are getting back into that routine. Students are getting back into that routine. And so we appreciate you guys taking time out of your night to come and hear a little bit of our stories. My name is Emily Burgess. I live in Boise, Idaho. I have an amazing husband and two daughters that were my why. They were the reason why I wanted to start doing this Plexus business. But the fun thing is that for 4.5 years, I did not want to do Plexus. My friend actually sent me samples of the Plexus pink drink. She sent me 3 of them, and I threw them in the trash because I knew better than her, and I knew that they were probably laced with chemicals and things that I did not want to put in my body while I was still crunching on tacos and eating ice cream and just crying in my closet every day. And so after 4.5 years of me saying no, 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 and rolling my eyes and saying I would never do that, I don't ever want to be salesy, I would never want to ask my friend to buy something from me, there was something planted in my soul where for some reason, like I knew beyond a shadow of a doubt that this was going to be the vessel to change everything for my family. And it has. We've been here for 6.5 years, and every single dream that I had just written out, kind of loosey-goosey, like this will never happen. But if we had like all the time in the world and all the finances in the world, what would we do? And wrote those things out. Buy a home in our dream neighborhood, take our family over to Europe and do mission work over there, get our kids involved in things like, activities like arts and crafts and dances and things like that that we could not afford. I wrote all of those things down. And after hard work, years and years of just having focus on what I was doing, loving people, learning, like raising my leadership, I was just a stay-at-home mom who, you guys, I'm just going to show you. I'm wearing sweatpants right now. I'm wearing a blazer and sweatpants right now. That's who I am. Like, I'm just a stay-at-home mom, but I saw the vision for what this could be for my family, and I went hard after it. And I sit here 6.5 years later just saying, this is the sweetest gift, not just the finances, but the time, being able to be with my family. We just got back from a three-week trip over in Europe as a family of 4 doing mission work. Like, fill my cup. These women and men that are on this call right now, fill my cup. They have become family to me. So many aspects of this business have changed every part of my life, my heart. And so that's why we are excited to share with you guys tonight. So again, thank you guys for taking time out of your evening to come and hear these stories. We really hope that you'll hear a story and think to yourself, kind of like I did for 4.5 years, that while it was like brewing, I wonder what this could look like for my family. I wonder what that would look like if I did put some really solid work and effort into this. What could this do for my family? And then opposite, what would it do if I didn't do anything, to move the needle forward with my family? Or if I'm a student or single or whatever that might be. So tonight I've asked 4 women who are not on our team, but they are dear friends of mine, to come and share a little bit of their story. They are either in the education world or they came from the education world. And I just figured, like, what better time of year than to have women who have walked through the back to school madness and being a mom and shuffling all the things, to hear their story, to see what has changed for them. So I'm going to pass this off. This is going to be a super fast call. I'm going to pass this off to my dear friend Brianne. If you guys have questions or thoughts, kind thoughts, feel free to put them in the chat and I'll try to go and answer them as we're going. But thank you guys for being here. Bri, I'll pass it off to you.
Welcome. Okay. I love being able to do these calls. I love that we have the time freedom to choose to do these calls. And I actually just did another call just before this with my team. And I actually had to think about the day of the week. And that's one of my favorite parts of this, because I always kind of have to pause. And that was never the way it was when I was teaching. You always knew the day of the week because you were always waiting for Friday and always dreading Sunday night. I loved my job. But that's just the way that it was, right? And summertime went way too fast because you always knew August was going to roll around and you just wanted July 32nd to happen over and over and over again because you never wanted August to come. So let me take you back 8 years ago. What I found when I started this opportunity is nothing that I thought it would be, and every single thing that I needed. So I'm actually going to take you back a few years before that. So I had 3 kiddos in 3 years, not necessarily my plan, but God's plan. And it was life-changing for me. If you were somebody that kind of had your whole life mapped out, especially if you went to college to be a teacher and you kind of thought you knew everything that you were going to do, will you just drop a 1 in the comments? Like, before I was an adult and before I was a mom, I thought I knew everything I was going to do. Like, I was going to go to college, I was going to have this, I was going to do that. And then I went to a county fair. I met my husband and we started writing our country song, and it was nothing that I thought it was going to be. 3 kids in 3 years. I was diagnosed with 4 different autoimmune disorders, and my oldest daughter started suffering from extreme allergies and anaphylactic allergies. And so I was a school teacher at that time. And when I realized that we were going to have to put her into a daycare setting, I cry thinking about it. It broke my heart, even more than just the normal, like going back to school every single day and dropping them off at daycare, because I literally had to fear for her life every single day when I would drop her off places. And so dairy farming, not lucrative, but we made the really hard decision to abandon years of my teaching career and all of my college to be able to stay at home. We did not ever have more margin at the end of our month. We were always going paycheck to paycheck, and sometimes it would go in the red. And it was always a panic. I loved life. I have a beautiful family. I have an amazing husband, but I knew that we wanted more, and I never knew how to get there. And it was a really scary place to be. And so I started doing an Etsy shop. I was making vinyl decals, and somebody came, and thank the Lord that it played out this way, but somebody came and ordered an Etsy vinyl decal off of me, and they were sharing Plexus. And I'll be honest, my first thought was, oh dear Lord, please no, don't order anything, because I don't want to have to order off of you. I don't want to have to like do this whole Plexus thing. I was so skeptical, even though, because we had been reading food labels for years, I had been forced to become crunchy. And so I ordered. I'm going to be real honest. I had no idea why I was doing it, and I ended up quitting. And 6 months later, again, by the grace of God and that sweet country song that we were writing, I was tired of spinning the hamster wheel. And so I got back on the products. I accidentally shared with 3 people simply because I didn't want my mom to be like, hey, why are you doing this? And why didn't you tell me about it? Because I knew she needed the products. My sister-in-law needed them. And so I got my first paycheck from Plexus. I thought that I got it by mistake, but I wasn't going to send it back because we needed the money. And so then, being a math teacher, I had gone into the compensation plan, looked through everything, and I knew at that point, and I still get really emotional about this, because I knew at that point that if I was willing to step outside of my comfort zone, that this could be the catalyst that would absolutely change everything for our family. And when I say that it absolutely changed everything, it absolutely has changed everything. I am not a big believer that money buys happiness, but I am a big believer that money alleviates stress. And when you don't have to fight with your husband at the end of the month and have that extra stress because you don't know where bills are going to be paid from, and back to school and kids, my kids are 10, 11, and 13 now. Sports are expensive, right? The world is expensive. And so if you're here tonight, what I want to challenge you with is to dream bigger, whether it is having an extra $300 to be able to go through and have some more margin in the end of your month, or to design a life that you completely love. You can do it. Y'all, if you're a teacher, you can do Plexus. You already do hard things every single day. And so I'm going to second what Emily said, and I'm going to leave you with this. My why, my vision for more is going to look completely different than yours. I'm actually headed back to our county fair because we are country and my kids show cows. And so I'm going to go back up there and tent camp with them. I'm already in pajamas, actually. And so my version of more looks completely different than your version of more. And that's the beautiful part of this opportunity, because it can look any way that you want it to look. You can still love your teaching career if that's where you choose to be, and just have a little bit of extra every month. All right, I'm going to pass it on to my sweet friend Lauren, and I cannot wait to see where this takes every single one of you in the future.
Awesome. Thank you, Brianne. It's always so good to hear your story. Super inspiring. But yeah, my name is Lauren Geary. I live right outside of Nashville, Tennessee. And I also started Plexus 8 years ago. That was before I had kids. I was a teacher, and we just, like Brianne said, we were struggling to make ends meet. My husband was a part-time youth minister, and he was also an insurance agent, and we were okay, like we could pay the bills, but then life would happen and like a car would break down, or we got hit with taxes one year. We didn't realize we had done our taxes wrong the year before, and we got a $10,000 letter from the IRS saying we owed $10,000, and that was like a third of what I was making. And so it was heavy. Like we could make ends meet with our everyday bills, but that was it. So when life hit us with surprises, as it always does, we were always behind. And so we're hard workers. My husband was always trying to find like an extra way to make income. I was a teacher, but I also did after school camps. I taught a cooking class. We had a cooking club at the elementary school I taught. I also taught after school art classes to make extra money. In the summers, I nannied and I ran art camps, and the kids that I nannied came to my art camps because that's just what we had to do to make it work. We were determined to make it work, but we were always working. And I don't know what I would have done if I had kids, because I guess they'd be going to a lot of art camps because it took up all of my time. We were constantly working. And everybody has points in their lives that are like pivotal moments that create vision or passion for them. And in 2017, we gave birth to our first daughter, Harper, but she had an issue with her cord and was born without a heartbeat. And it was a traumatic time for us. It was really difficult for our family. Sorry, Bree got me like set off. But what I learned, I'm so sorry, this caught me off guard. What I learned, my daughter just started kindergarten this week. I'll tell you about her in a minute. What I learned from her short life was that time is precious, and there is nothing that was more valuable to me than time with my babies. So fast forward 1 year, she was born in February 2017, February 2018, I gave birth to Madison. I'm so sorry. I didn't see this coming. Anyways, Madison is now 5 years old, and because of Plexus, I started Plexus 3 years before she was born. Within 6 months, I had matched my teaching income, and that allowed me to be able to say, once I got pregnant with Madison, you know what? It is time for me to back away. I was able to stay home and have a very simple, easy pregnancy thanks to Plexus, but also just the not being up. And I had so many doctor's appointments during that second pregnancy, and I had the freedom to attend those appointments without stress, without finding subs. That was a huge blessing. God put Plexus in my life when he did, for a reason. Anyways, I was able to stay home with her, which was the greatest blessing of all. My school could have offered me $1 million to come back and teach. And it was not about the money for me. The money I'm grateful for because it's alleviated a lot of stress. But for me, it was about the freedom, the time freedom I had to be so present with my daughter. And she just started kindergarten this week. And, I have volunteered on Wednesdays. I'm the volunteer for lunch, for the kindergarten lunch duty. I plan on being at every field trip. I plan on being home on the sick days. I'm so grateful that, that's what is on my heart because of our experiences. I don't want to say no to opportunities with my family. And Plexus has given me that. And on top of that, they've also given us, like I said, the financial opportunity to dream bigger than we ever dreamed, to be able to invest. My husband is very passionate about investing in real estate and duplexes. That's his thing. He loves duplexes. And it's like a special dream. He's like a kid. That's what makes him so joyful, is he gets to spend money investing because he has big dreams for our future. And never in a million years, I was a teacher, and you don't go into teaching for the paycheck, obviously. So we never dreamed big. We just wanted to stay out of debt. That was our dream. And so to now get to a place where I love texting him. Today we got a text about our paychecks, and I love shooting him a text and look, babe, this is what's coming in this month, because we never dreamed we would be in the place that we are. And so I am so grateful for my time as a teacher. And I think a really great thing about teachers is they're great with community, right? Hopefully, ideally, you work in a setting where you're working with other women, you work as a team. And we have that in Plexus. And it's funny, I was meeting with a dream teamer, a girl who I really wanted to work this business. She was the girl that I grew up with, but she was the teacher. And we got together for lunch one day to talk about Plexus. There was a group of women sitting in the corner. And I was like, I think they're teachers. And she's like, they are. I know those girls because you could tell by the community and their interaction that they worked together, but they also had fun together. And you get that in Plexus too. It's an incredible community of supportive women. You're used to teaching people, you're used to understanding that people work in different ways and we connect with people in different ways, just like we do our students. And so much of what we learned, whether in college or experience as teachers, like translates so beautifully over to Plexus and what we do and how we work. And so it's a really beautiful transition. Should it's something you want to make a full-time opportunity or just an opportunity to bring in additional income and dream bigger and do big things. So it's a huge blessing. And teachers are some of my favorite people to really seek after and to recruit and to get to work with. Because like I said, this translates so beautifully from what you're doing in the classroom already. So grateful you all were open to attend tonight. I know a lot of you are back to school already, but it's an honor to get to be a part of this tonight with you. And I'm going to pass it over to my Brianna. Are you there?
Yep. Hi, girls. Can you guys hear me? All right. So I am coming to you from my camper because that is where we are. We headed off to a early start to a lake weekend with our friends. And so we pulled into a literal mud hole. So that was fun. But anyways, I'm from West Virginia. I have 2 children. I taught 6th, 5th, and then 4th grade. And I kept going lower because we know the older kids just continue to get those attitudes so much earlier. And I just really kept like going down and loving on those little ones. But anyways, I started Plexus 6.5 years ago because of some terrible health issues with some digestion that I was going through and being super skeptical. I was in like health and fitness before Plexus. And so she knew this was right up my alley, but little did she know I didn't believe. Like I just did not believe in supplements and all of the things. So I ended up getting started and fell in love with it immediately. People started to see changes in me immediately, and I am a natural sharer. So there I went off on my sharing journey. And I absolutely love everything about Plexus because there's so much that happens inside this community that like people just cannot even dream of. And so when I started sharing, not only did I find relationships, I mended relationships because we were struggling. We were living paycheck to paycheck. My husband worked night shift. He was a manager at Home Depot and he was making more money than I did. And that sucks, right? But here I am with 2 toddlers at the time. He's gone all day. I'm working all day. Like it's exhausting. And so we were just like not in a good place financially. We were not in a good place in our relationship, and our marriage was struggling. And when I found Plexus, it was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Not only did I start bringing in extra income for our family, but I really saw what could happen here. I saw the vision because almost immediately I earned the first leaders retreat and we went to Orlando and I got to take my kids to Disney World. Like as a teacher, I never, ever, ever expected to take my children to Disney World. It just never seemed financially possible. And so when I was able to earn that and my husband walks into the Gaylord that was completely paid for, my kids are on property at Disney, it was just like, is this real life? Is this really what's happening? And so I have just ran with this and I continue to share and scream it from the rooftops because when you can take your life from literally, like I say, shambles, it wasn't shambles. We had a beautiful life, 2 healthy children. But when you're struggling and you have all that stress and that anxiety that weighs on you every single day, it's like I didn't even sleep well because I felt like the world was on my shoulders. And now that we're able to, we bought a used camper, we bought a used boat, and like now we're able to go and do things and have extra money and to actually put money in a savings account because, like they all mentioned, there was no money for emergencies. Like when things happened to our car or our house, we were bumming money off of our parents. And like that's no fun as adults, right? Especially when you have children. You're like, I'm married and have kids, but I need money. So this is just something that you can truly run with. And it's something that it's, if you want to crawl, crawl. If you want to walk, walk. But if you want to sprint, like you can sprint and you can change your life. And it is such an amazing thing. And so I do get emotional because I went from full-time to part-time because I was never the mommy who wanted to be home. I did not enjoy the stay-at-home mom life. And I know that there's parents that like they want to be home with their kids all the time. That was not my personality. Our kids and me, we do better when we have like time apart. And so now that they're in school, I can come home before noon, get my work done, do my workout, be in peace, and then pick them up. And it's like I'm a new mommy because I've had that time for myself before they even come home. And so it was an amazing thing for me able to go part-time and cut back and fill my cup too, so I can fill their cup. And so it's just so many amazing things. I could talk to you all for hours about all of this, but I'm going to let my friend Darcy take over.
Yes, I just love these events and I love the stories. And my story is so similar. I was a Montessori elementary school teacher in a little small town in Maine, and all of the same things that these women just shared, we struggled with too financially. And Plexus was not on my radar at all. But I could remember, like I really felt like, you guys, I went to school for teaching it and it was the only thing I could do, right? I hadn't really thought there was anything else I could do. And so starting a different career, switching careers was never on my radar. But I remember I worked at a private school being so envious of the moms who would drop off in their yoga clothes or chat in the hallway about going to meet for coffee. And I just yearned for that, like me time. Like I would teach all day. I'd have my kids went to the Montessori school too. So I'd bring them in the morning with me. They had to, they were crying in the morning and rush out the door. There was so much yelling and frustration. And then they would wait after school with me until 4:30 or 5 o'clock. Most nights I would drag them to the grocery store with me and meltdowns. Like I just dreamed of having that peaceful day where I dropped them off and I went to yoga. I had self-care. And so I had no clue how to get there, right? Because we were also drowning in debt. Like all these teachers shared, I was working summer camp, I was tutoring, I filed for my dad. Chris worked at UPS in like 5 a.m. until a noon shift and then went to his other job. Like, it's like, this is the American way. And until someone shows you that an opportunity like this exists, you just have no clue. You're just drowning. So we found Plexus because my daughter got really sick with digestive issues. A naturopath educated me about gut health. And I saw my sweet friend sharing and I reached out and was blown away month 1 on the products. And she added me into this team page. Like everyone said, we had this community of support and love. And in this team page, I saw women, teachers just like myself, dreaming big and achieving their dreams. And I thought, what if for a year we just go all in? Like all the teachers have shared, like we know how to educate ourselves. We know how to work with others. We're helpers at heart. We love people big. Like we are multitaskers. We know we're hardworking. We're driven. Like I know how to do this. I can do this. So for a year, I decided like, and if nothing changed in a year, I'd be in the same position, you guys. So it helped us achieve dreams we never dreamed of as well. When my husband and I first met and we were dating, we joked like, someday we're going to have an RV and I'm going to be in the back making peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and you're going to be driving. And again, that dream just seemed like never achievable. Like there was no way possible that would ever be our lives because we both had to work full-time jobs and then take on second jobs. And so within 2 years of being in Plexus, we had both walked away from our jobs. The income had allowed us to both walk away, and we bought an RV and we traveled the country with our two sweet kids. And I got to teach them and have all these memories and experiences with them. And it was just something I couldn't believe this huge bucket list item was able to come true. So, dream big, you guys. I'm telling you, these products work. The masses need them. We serve children with gut health. We serve my grandfather, Chris's grandfather at 97 is on these products. Like, they are helping the masses. There's no limit of people who need what we have. And again, we are getting to serve people and help them feel better and then build that dream life that they want. So dream big. I know in the beginning I was like, is this even possible? It is possible. It is possible. So dream big, and what if this is your story too?
Thank you so much, Darcy and Bree and Lauren. I sit here and I just am like hearing these stories, and I'm just so thankful for this opportunity, and for being able to for me to be able to put my pride to the side, because I think it was for me a prideful thing of I don't want to be that girl. I don't want people to see me at church and turn the other way because they're afraid I'm going to come and pummel them until they buy products from me. But the fun thing is, you get to be in control of your business. And so if you don't want to be viewed as somebody that pummels somebody at church to buy your products, then don't pummel somebody at church to buy your products. You get to operate with your heart, seeing other people, caring for other people. And the cool thing is, you've heard 5 stories tonight that have really talked more about dreams being achieved and just more freedom financially and more time freedom and all those things. But you didn't even hear their health stories. Most of these women probably joined Plexus because of their health. I mean, you heard Darcy and you heard Bree talk about that a little bit, but their health stories are incredible too. And we know that most stressors come from our health and our finances. And that's why I am so incredibly passionate about what we have here, because I see it blessing so many people in those 2 massive areas of our lives. And so I encourage you, if you are just here as a fly on the wall, kind of hearing stories, and maybe you're feeling that little prompting in your soul of maybe I do want to hear a little bit more. This feels scary. This feels a little out of my comfort zone. You're in good company, because the majority of us probably wanted to vomit when we first decided that we wanted to do this, because this is scary and it is stretching your comfort zone and it is, unconventional, but you don't grow if you stay in your comfort zone. And so I just encourage you to sit on these stories, think through this. If you are a person of faith, maybe pray over this and just ask the Lord to give you a peace if this is something that you ought to look into. And if you do have that peace, and if you do feel I want to learn more about this, reach out to the person who invited you, reach out to me, reach out to one of these ladies, ask questions. Asking questions, having a conversation is not a commitment. I had to have a lot of conversations where I asked a lot of questions to the person I joined under, because I knew if I was going to do this, I was doing this all the way. And so I just encourage you to sit, think, ponder, what would this look like for you and your family? The cool thing too with Plexus is that when you sign up, you don't have to have a closet full of products where you've spent thousands and thousands of dollars and you're desperate to get them out of your closet. That's not it at all. You start earning commissions when you purchase your own products that you're taking yourself. And so that's a huge blessing, is that it's not a financial risk, because you are taking the products, you are a customer, and you are then helping other people, and you get bonuses. We have a really incredible compensation plan, all the way from our first rank, where that average first rank, I would say it probably averages anywhere from $100 to $300 a month, all the way to what Darcy and Brianne, who is the first speaker, and I are at diamond level, that are over $20,000 a month. So there's such blessing that comes here. So encourage you to think about this, pray about this, speak to your sponsor, know there's a turnkey business waiting for you, and a community of people that will just welcome you in, encourage you, support you, and help you every step of the way. Thank you guys so much for being on, and we will see you guys later. Bye, everyone.